She was only 23, a rising actress whose very first audition turned into a role that would introduce her to the world. A young woman with fire, humor, and music in her heart. Gone far too soon. Friends, family, and fans are now struggling to understand how someone so full of life could leave the world so suddenly. But her story isn't just about loss. It's about strength, about resilience, about a girl who refused to let anything define her, not even the challenges no one could see. Isabelle Tate's breakthrough came almost like fate. The very first show she ever auditioned for was 911 Nashville, and she got the part. For any new actor, just stepping on a set can be overwhelming. For Isabelle, it was a dream coming to life. She played Julie in the series premiere, holding her own alongside major names like Leanne Rimes and Chris O'Donnell. Even with limited screen time, she made an impression. Her presence, her energy, her authenticity. It stood out. Cast and crew would later say the same thing. Isabelle wasn't just acting. She was Julie, warm, sharp, and full of spirit. Born and raised in Tennessee, Isabelle was known for her heart. She loved animals. She volunteered. She surrounded herself with people she cared about. Her family described her as someone who wanted to change the world, who was always ready to make someone laugh, always the one who could turn any moment into a memory. Her sister was her best friend. Her mother was her guiding light. She was the kind of person who walked into a room and immediately became its warmth. But behind her smile was a challenge she rarely talked about. At 13, Isabelle was diagnosed with a progressive neuromuscular disease, something that affected her leg muscles and mobility. Over time, she would need to use a wheelchair. It wasn't easy. She once wrote openly about how hard it was to accept help or feel her independence slipping. But instead of letting that break her, she made a decision. She chose to embrace her reality, to live without apology, to show the world that her spirit was stronger than her circumstance. And that is exactly what she did. She didn't just act, she created. She loved music deeply. She spent hours writing and recording, sometimes releasing songs just because she felt something that needed to be heard. Her creativity wasn't about fame. It was about expression, about emotion, about leaving something meaningful behind. Her kindness didn't go unnoticed. One of her co-stars, Hunter McVeigh, spoke about their first day filming together. He said he was nervous, unsure of himself. But Isabelle made him feel supported. She encouraged him without even trying. Her presence was comforting. She made others feel braver just by being herself. And now, that memory means everything. One scene from her episode has since gone viral. Julie, the character Isabelle played, is in a wheelchair at a club when someone blocks her view and calls her Hot Wheels. Another character steps in, not out of pity, but out of respect, reminding the audience and everyone watching that disability does not define identity, value, or femininity. For many viewers, especially those living with mobility challenges, the scene was powerful, real, validating. It said what Isabelle herself had lived by. Your spirit is bigger than your body. Then, on October 19th, everything stopped. Isabelle Tate passed away at just 23 years old. Her cause of death has not been made public, and for now, her family is asking for the space to grieve privately. What remains is the echo of her laughter, her music, her performance, and the way she made people feel seen. She leaves behind her mother, her father, her sister, her stepfather, her friends, and everyone who felt even a moment of her light. But her legacy does not end here. Isabelle's story reminds us that strength can be quiet, courage can be gentle, and a life doesn't have to be long to be meaningful. She taught us that we don't get to choose the cards we're given, but we do get to choose how we play them. And she chose love. She chose creativity. She chose to shine. Isabelle Tate may have left this world early, but what she left behind will continue to live, inspire, and speak for those who feel unseen, for those who fight silent battles, and for those who keep going. Even when life gets heavy, she did not let life define her. And that is how she will be remembered.